Today's Kansas City Chiefs report is presented by Fetch Rewards. Earn points by scanning receipts literally from any restaurant or store, and then later redeem those points with gift cards or other rewards as well. You want to get your morning coffee paid for? You can, because Starbucks gift cards are available to be had. Chatsports.com/fetch. Get 3,000 bonus points with promo code Chiefs. Get started with the Fetch Rewards app today. All right, today's show is free agents. All 30 of the Chiefs free agents set to enter free agency this offseason. Chiefs got 30 players that they got to make decisions on. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Starting off, Tyrann Mathieu. And we're going to kind of go bigger names, and then we'll get to some lesser names as we go. Obviously, the safety is a big player that GM Brett Veach has to make a decision on. His leadership traits are very valuable. Still a good player. Wasn't as productive on the field this year, but obviously he is a player that Kansas City really has to make a decision on. I think that's going to be the toughest decision for Brett Veach this offseason. Next up is Orlando Brown, the left tackle. I don't expect this to be much of a decision. The only decision Brett Veach is going to have to make when it comes to Orlando Brown is whether or not he franchise tags him or already gives him the bag. Now, Ian Rappaport reported the other day that they could tag him and then come to terms on a long-term deal because that would buy the Chiefs more time. But Orlando Brown will for sure be a part of the future. We're not so sure about Tyrann Mathieu. So let me know. If you had to keep one guy, who are you keeping? Type TM for Tyrann Mathieu. Type OB for Orlando Brown. I got to go Orlando Brown. I got to protect my $500 million quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, plus he's younger as well. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let's keep it moving here. How about Melvin Ingram, who really came on after the trade over from Pittsburgh? I like Melvin Ingram. I would prefer to keep him, even if that means I got to cut Frank Clark. If I got to cut Frank Clark to clear up cap space and bring back Ingram, I might do that, man. That's probably what I would do because I can save about $13 million if I cut Frank Clark. I can sign Ingram for maybe half of that, and then I got some extra money to spend on some other pieces. You know, maybe I go sign, a number 3 or 4 type of wide receiver. Maybe I go get a CB2 or something like that. So I would cut Clark, re-sign Ingram, have a little cash left over. That is probably how I would operate. We will see how Brett Veach views the situation. Next up on the defensive line as well, Jarran Reed, who played really poorly early on in the year, but came on strong late, thought he had a nice playoff run as well. For the right price, I would consider bringing him back, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's, a major priority. I wonder how the Chiefs feel about Charvarius Ward, because in 2020, he was really bad. He had a really bad year. This year started off poorly again through the first 4 or 5 games, but then he played a lot better. I thought he played really well in the playoff game against Cincinnati, even though the Chiefs lost, obviously. He bounced back this year, and he bounced back in that game because the first time he played the Bengals, he got kind of torched. Second time, he really didn't. I mean, he held his own. He was stuck one-on-one on T. Higgins multiple times and really did well. I'd be interested in bringing him back. I liked how he played this year. I think he's going to have a little bit of a market, though, so be interested to see if some teams offer some decent money. Keep it going. Mike Remmers, who basically didn't play this year. He got injured in the middle of the year. He was the swing tackle. Played a little bit at right tackle, but I don't think he's a priority. Andrew Wylie held up fine over there, so we'll see what happens with Remmers. Byron Pringle, a player who really, has found some consistency the last couple of years, especially here this year. I thought at times he was the number 2 receiver on this team. You look at his numbers here, 42 grabs, 568 and 5 touchdowns, 13.5 yards. Had some weird drops late in the season, but I think he's really been a nice developmental story coming out of Kansas State, playing, close to where he played in college. And I think he's a guy who would like to stay, but he's also a guy who hasn't made a lot of money in this league. And if someone offers him $6 or $7 million a year, I'm not sure the Chiefs are going to be able to match that. What do you guys think? Should the Chiefs re-sign Byron Pringle? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get your votes in down in the comments. I'd like to, but he might look to cash in elsewhere. Mike Hughes, who the Chiefs traded basically nothing for to grab him, the former first-round pick from the Vikings. Played okay at times, good special teams player. He's like a fringe CB3, probably more of a CB4 type. If you want to bring him back for $2 or $3 million, he can be a reserve, a good reserve and a good special teams guy. Sure, but he's not a guy like that needs to be a priority. You know who doesn't need to be a priority, and God bless him because he's had some good moments with this team, Dan Sorensen. It's time for Sorensen to go. It's been a nice run, but he sucked this year. He's lost a step. He can't cover. You know, a lot of great memories, though, of him. He made a lot of key plays over the years for this team. I mean, I don't think the Chiefs beat the Texans and mount that historic comeback without him. For him to snuff out that fake punt in 2019 after a 24-0 deficit early on, and they come back to win that game and win the Super Bowl a couple of games later, he deserves a lot of credit. Glue guy, but he's not the same player. It's time for him to go. It's been a nice run, but I think there's a chance he could just retire, but we'll see what happens. How about Chad Henne? Does Chad Henne want to keep playing? 35, 36 years old? I mean, if the Chiefs want to bring him back as a backup quarterback, I suppose I don't have a big problem with it, but you also have Shane Buechele hanging out, and I think they view Shane Buechele as a future backup quarterback. So we'll see how they approach Henne, if Henne wants to keep playing, but he's been a quality backup for quite a while. Fetch Rewards is today's presenting sponsor, and guys, I keep telling you guys, if you want free gift cards, go to Fetch at chatsports.com/Fetch. This app allows you to scan receipts, which will then give you points, literally receipts from anywhere, store, restaurant, fill up your gas tank, doesn't matter. All receipts work. You scan them. You get the 3 green lights that pop up there on the phone right there. You see them, the 3 green lights there. Boom, you're good to go. You submit it. You rack up points. And over time, you accumulate more points, and you can turn those points into gift cards from Amazon, Starbucks, Target, Walmart, tons of restaurants. I was just browsing the other day. You can get like Chili's and TGI Fridays. It's a lot of the chain places, but some smaller ones as well. Chatsports.com/Fetch. Download all your receipts today. It's not like you're limited to one today. They are active for the last 2 weeks. So if you download this app now and have a receipt from last week still laying around, you can still earn points. Go into the comments, go to the description of this video, chatsports.com/Fetch. It's a free download, free to use app. Get promo code Chiefs in there. You'll get 3,000 bonus points once you scan your first receipt. It's a great deal. It's free. I'm racking up points. I cannot wait for my next Amazon purchase to be from a gift card. Okay, more free agents to break down, and we'll pick it up as we go along here. Darrel Williams, the running back here. Listen, we can go ahead and pair Jerick McKinnon in here as well, because both these guys really had their moments this year. Down the stretch of the regular season, it was the Darrel Williams show when Clyde Edwards-Helaire got hurt, but then Williams got banged up with a toe injury. Jerick McKinnon came back into the lineup. He had his moment, his time to shine. I think both these guys will draw interest around the league, not for major money, but teams will have interest in these guys as rotation players. I think if you're Kansas City, you probably keep one, bring him back. You got Clyde under contract as well. So pick one. Who you keeping? Type D-Dub for Darrel Williams. Type JM for Jerick McKinnon. I like them both, man. I really do like them both. If I had to pick one, probably Jerick McKinnon. I liked what I saw in the playoffs. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let's go to Kyle Long now, who, if you guys remember, retired after 2019. After the 2019 season, came back for 2021. Didn't play at all, though. Was on the PUP list most of the year. I think he was there mostly as a mentor type to other offensive linemen. If he wants to come back for dirt cheap and be a backup and be a mentor again, sure. But I could totally see him retiring again. Ben Niemann, who stinks. He is cheeks, in the great words of Micro Mike. Him and Dirty Dan, it's time. I don't need to see them anymore. Ben Niemann was terrible this year. I mean, when the fact he's getting playoff snaps, it's like, come on, man. You got Willie Gay Jr., Nick Bolton, and Anthony Hitchens. How is Ben Niemann getting on the field? Like he can't play. Get him out of here. I don't want Ben Niemann on this roster anymore. DeMarcus Robinson, I'm indifferent. If he wants to come back and be the number 4 receiver for cheap, cool. If he wants to try something else elsewhere, fine with that as well. He is what he is at this point. He's a reliable number 4 receiver, so that's perfectly fine. How about Josh Gordon, a guy that things didn't really work out. In the playoffs, he got cut and put on the practice squad once Kalen Saunders got healthy. But I'd like to see him back. I would sign him to a 1-year non-guaranteed deal so he can get a full offseason of reps, because it's hard for a guy like him who's, he's been so in and out of the NFL in recent years due to, his off-the-field issues. But it sounds like from everything I've heard, he handled everything well. No trouble whatsoever. Bring him back, see what he can do this offseason, see what he can do in training camp. And look, if he gets beat out, if he's not good enough, cut him. There's no harm there. But I'd like to see him get a full offseason and see if he can be a weapon on this team. And if not, no harm, no foul. Kudos to him. He was not a distraction whatsoever. So I'd like to see him get another chance here. Blake Bell, the tight end, good rotation guy. Obviously, he's not a tight end one, but, they did that little QB sneak roll with him, the former college quarterback. That was pretty effective, some goal line stuff. So, yeah, sure, if you want to bring him back and be your tight end 2 or 3, no problems there. Alex Okafor didn't do a ton this year. If he wants to be a rotation edge rusher, that's fine. I think the defensive line is going to be an area that Brett Veach looks at pretty closely. I'm kind of indifferent here. I don't have a strong opinion on Okafor's future. Austin Blythe, look, he came in to be the center, and then they drafted Creed Humphrey and realized, holy crap, this kid's a gem. So he was a backup. If he wants to be a backup center next year, cool, bring him back. If not, Creed Humphrey's the starter, so no harm, no foul. Michael Burton, I think there's a good chance he's back. Andy Reid likes utilizing fullbacks in his offense. He was one of the better ones in the NFL this year. He's no Kyle Juszczyk, but he's still a very, very good player at the fullback position. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. More Kansas City Chiefs news, rumors, just about every single day. By the way, don't forget to turn on that notification bell. A lot of new subscribers that we picked up during this playoff run. What turning on the notification bell does after you subscribe is it actually notifies you when we post a video or when we go live. So you could be subscribed and not even know that we've published a video. So hit the sub button, turn on the notification bell, and never miss a video here on the Chiefs Report. Let's go to Derrick Nnadi here, defensive tackle. I think, this is an interesting position this offseason. Obviously, you have Chris Jones, but a couple of guys are free agents. You got Nnadi, Jarran Reed, Okafor at the edge spot. I think defensive line is a big focus. Melvin Ingram as well. Frank Clark, what do you do with him? Brett Veach has to make some decisions there in this front four. The only for sure thing is that Chris Jones will be back. Beyond that, though, it's very unknown. Does Michael Dana become a starter next year? Does Joshua Kando get into the mix? Who knows? We'll see what happens, but I think that front four needs to be a focus. Andrew Wylie, who played right tackle down the stretch and held his own. I mean, I wouldn't look back at any of those games and be like, oh, Andrew Wylie. The first game he came in, he struggled, but after that, he played pretty darn well. If he wants to be a number 6-0 lineman again, I think he's good at that role because he can play guard or tackle. I would expect Lucas Niang to be the starting right tackle next year, but Andrew Wylie started over 40 games for the Chiefs now. Like he's proven to be a very serviceable player. Dorian O'Daniel, great special teams player. I'd rather see him get linebacker snaps than Ben Niemann, quite frankly. I'd be down to bring him back. He's a good special teams guy. Maybe he can be your LB4 as well. Would like to see that happen. Armani Watts, same deal. Great special teams guy. Doesn't get much run at safety, which kind of is a red flag to me. Like if Dan Sorensen keeps getting snaps and Watts isn't getting any, then he's kind of just a specialist. So we'll see if he returns. Marcus Kemp, who was great in the preseason and is also a great special teams player. I still would like to see him get an opportunity on offense, but it's a crowded wide receiver room. We'll see what his future holds in Kansas City. Name an external free agent you want the Chiefs to sign. Obviously, we're talking about the Chiefs' own, their internal free agents, but name a player that's going to be available from another team that you want the Chiefs to sign this offseason. A few more here. James Winchester, the long snapper. Don't care. Like, if you want him back as your long snapper, great. If you want to get someone else, cool. Whoever's cheaper, that's what I say. Chris Lammons, special teams guy, corner, safety, hybrid. He can play a few different spots. I think the Chiefs like him. I think there's some potential here with him, but we haven't seen him play much. He's a exclusive rights free agent, by the way, so if they want him back, he'll be back. DeAndre Baker, a restricted free agent, so they can match another team. CB4 type, CB5. In a pinch, he can play fairly well, but he's obviously never lived up to that former first-round pick with the Giants. Jody Fortson, I do expect him to be back. Blew his Achilles early in the year, but we were starting to see him, really emerge as a weapon at tight end. Former wide receiver, put on some weight, came in as a tight end, made the team this year. I'd like to see him back, and I think he will be back. And then Derrick Gore. I mentioned earlier Darrel Williams and Jerick McKinnon. Maybe you let one walk, and then you bring back Derrick Gore as your third running back. behind Edwards-Helaire and either McKinnon or Williams, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. So there you have it. Those are the Chiefs' 30 free agents that they have to make decisions on this offseason. Some will be back, some will be gone. We'll see what happens there. Be sure you guys follow me on Twitter for more Chiefs news, rumors, and updates throughout the offseason. It's at HGramNFL, at HGramNFL. Give me a follow. You can also ask me your Chiefs questions over there.